Hey guys, it's My Blue Thoughts. Playoff edition again! We're still in the playoffs! The series is tied 1-1. So far, the series has been everything we expected. Two clubs with very good starting pitching going at it with one another, and the series is tied. Mets beat Clayton Kershaw, we beat Noah Syndergaard. So what are we talking about today? We're talking about a fucking slide. We're talking about a slide. A slide into second base where Chase Utley, being the gamer that he is, we've been talking about this since they picked him up, and I was talking about how he would sprint to first in games that didn't even matter. In routine outs, he was sprinting to first because he hustles all the time because he only knows how to play the game one way. He plays the game hard, like you're supposed to. And like anybody's taught, once they play baseball past Little League, you're supposed to go in a second hard trying to break up the double play. Was it an illegal slide? Yes, that was an illegal slide. He slid past the base, but he did it to try to break up the play. Anybody who says that he did it intentionally to injure the guy and to break the guy's legs has clearly never played competitive baseball, and you should stay behind your keyboards and your little mobile phone devices at home because that's all you know, and that's fine. I guarantee you, as a former baseball player myself, I've tried to break up hundreds of double plays in my day, some successful, some unsuccessful. Never once have I intentionally tried to injure a person. So if you think that, you're stupid. But he slid too fast. Yeah, because the game happens so, you know how fast that happens? A game, you gotta slide, you gotta go, see where the guy goes, try to take him out to break up a double play. That happens so fast, you don't get to decide, oh, now he's over here. Do you think that would have even happened if Sahara wouldn't have got a bad feed from Murphy and try to do a pirouette and still try to, no! If he just would have accepted the fact that it's maybe going to be a force out and not try to turn a double play there, which was going to be impossible, he wouldn't have gotten hurt. Does he deserve to get his leg broken? No. Was it intentional? No. Mets fans, stop whining. It wasn't intentional, okay? Now, Matt Harvey's pitching today. I don't even think we got into this because it hadn't happened yet. Matt Harvey, Mr. I don't want to pitch more than 180 innings because I don't want to mess up my Tommy John reconstructed elbow and my agent doesn't think, oh, I shouldn't pitch. Oh, you got to pitch in the playoffs today. Do you think for a second that if he has some trouble that Mets fans aren't going to be the first fans to start booing him because that's how they are? If he gets into trouble today, he is going to get booed in his home stadium. What we do have to worry about today is the fact that Brett Anderson is pitching. We've gotten two Brett Andersons this year. We've gotten the good quality pitcher who has induced more ground balls than anybody else in baseball. That's great. I think the statistic was like more ground balls induced than anybody else since like Derek Lowe did it like 8 or 9 years ago. Okay, great. If that's the Brett Anderson that shows up, then yes, thank you, Brett. But if we get the one that can't find the strike zone, that's giving up home runs, it's going to be a battle. Because I think Harvey is going to come out and he's going to pitch. But what happened to him the other day? He didn't show up to a mandatory team practice. We're talking about practice. Remember that? Yeah, we're talking about practice. Matt Harvey, the guy that's pitching today for the Mets, didn't show up last week to their mandatory practice because he was stuck in traffic. I don't know what that is code for, but that's the excuse they gave us. Was he hungover? Was he hanging out with supermodels? I don't know. He gets around a little bit, and good for him. He should. He's in New York. He's single. He's good looking. He's a very good ball player. Awesome. But when you don't show up for a mandatory practice when your team is in the playoffs, that says something about the selfishness that goes back to that whole, I don't know how much longer I'm going to pitch thing. So Harvey has some things that I think he needs to prove to Mets fans. Will that make him try extra hard and maybe not concentrate on what he should? I don't know. You know, baseball is such a mental game. Speaking of which, Corey Seager, we love you, but he's not going to play today. Jimmy Rollins is getting the start. For two reasons. Seager's been a little bit over-aggressive the last couple games. Rollins, though, the main reason is that Rollins owns the Mets over the course of his career. He owns the Mets this year. He hit 3 home runs in 3 games at Citi Field, so that's why he's in the starting lineup today. And just to give Corey Seager maybe a chance to sit back, let things slow down a little bit. Don't think he's not going to still be a factor, because he is. But they just made an announcement today that tomorrow, Clayton Kershaw's pitching tomorrow. The Game 4 starter is going to be Clayton Kershaw. So what else does that tell us? That tells us that if Brett Anderson runs into trouble today, Alex Wood's going to be first out of the bullpen because he's not pitching tomorrow. So look for Brett Anderson to have a very short leash today, and then Clayton Kershaw's on the mound tomorrow. You think that there's not a reason that Don Mattingly announced today before this game that Clayton Kershaw is pitching tomorrow? It's so the Mets players and everybody in the organization can be like, oh, fuck, we have to win today. Clayton Kershaw's pitching tomorrow. Yeah, they beat him the other day. Clayton Kershaw was dealing until the 7th inning when he just lost his gas, man. And why did he lose his gas in the 7th inning? Because the Dodgers weren't scoring him any runs on Friday. They hadn't scored any runs the whole time he was in there, so every pitch that he was making was magnified. If they give him a 2-0 or 3-0 lead, he can relax a little bit. He could be more aggressive. He's going to be aggressive anyway, but you don't have that in the back of your mind. I can't make a mistake right here because my team doesn't have any runs. So, that being said, by the 7th inning, yeah, he was probably tired, man. When have you seen Clayton Kershaw walk 3 guys in a row, let alone a lefty? You know, that never happened. So he was tired because the Dodgers weren't getting many runs. You think the Dodgers aren't going to score tomorrow against Stats or whatever the fuck his name is? The Dodgers, oh man, they're in a very good position today. They took the game on Saturday quite convincingly, I might add. 5-2, yes, it was all based around a controversial play, but it was a play that the guy made because he's a winner, man. Chase Utley has a World Series ring. Maybe because he's a winner. Yeah. Does anybody on the Mets have a World Series ring? I don't think they do. I don't think they do. So, that being said, a lot of good things are going to happen today and tomorrow. I think the Dodgers can get to Harvey. Tonight we've got Kendrick again batting the leadoff spot, which is a good thing for them. Kendrick is a guy that's going to give them quality at bats every single time. He's not going to go up there swinging at the first pitch unless it's a situation where it could be a good idea to swing at the first pitch. He's going to get deep into the count. He's going to see how Harvey's looking today. He's going to put the ball in play. He'll take a walk if he needs to. Rollins batting second. We've got a good lineup today. Grandal's back in there. I think the Dodgers are going to make some noise offensively because the first 2 games with DeGrom and Syndergaard, those guys were throwing high 90s, 100. You know how hard it is to hit a fastball coming at 100 miles an hour? The ball looks this big. It's hard. So yeah, their offense hasn't scored. Harvey throws hard too, but he doesn't throw as hard as those guys. And he does not throw as hard as those guys. He has a lot to prove, and so do the Dodgers, but the series is tied at 1. We're right where we want them. We can split the next 2, come back to LA for a Game 5, where now that we know Kershaw's pitching tomorrow, that means Greinke will be pitching Game 5 if there is a Game 5. So, great move by Don Mattingly. I think we all knew that Clayton Kershaw would pitch Game 4 no matter what the series, unless we swept him, which we didn't. I think we all knew that no matter what, Clayton Kershaw was going to be the guy to go on short rest on tomorrow. So, now that we know that, the Mets have that in the back of their heads. Do you think they want to be down 2-1 with Clayton on the mound tomorrow? Nope. You think the Dodgers want to be down? Whatever. It could be worse. We could have worse guys. That means they would have to beat Kershaw and Greinke back-to-back, something that very, very few teams have done, if any, all season. So, that being said, the Dodgers do need to start executing a little bit more offensively. They came alive in that 7th inning on Saturday after that slide by Utley. It kind of broke open the floodgates and they got a couple timely hits, but they've been leaving way too many runners on base in scoring position the last couple games. They can't do that. If you get a guy on second, I've been talking about this, with less than 1 out, bunt him over to third, man. Carl Crawford came up with Ethier on second, and he didn't bunt him over. There was no outs, man. Carl, why aren't you trying to bunt him? We need one. When a team is scoring, the struggle runs to tie ball game 0-0. Why is Crawford not bunting him over? It's small ball. The worst case, he bunts it. He gets out at first. Now we got a runner on third with 1 out. Best case, he bunts it, beats it out for a hit. That way have runners on first and third with no outs, okay? This is a game of inches. This is a postseason battle of pitching. Every little run counts. Why not go for the sacrifice and play some small ball when we need it? I don't care who's up there. I honestly, I don't care who's up in the lineup. If we get runners on first and second in a tie game, the next person better be bunting them over to second and third. I don't care. Until our offense is rolling to the point where we're scoring 5, 6, 7 runs a game, play for each and every run because you don't know how many you're going to get against this quality pitching. That being said, I was very pleased with how lively Dodger Stadium was the last couple games. It was great to be there. It's such a great environment. I would like to go back this season. It's up to the Dodgers to not lose. I would like to be back there. I would rather not be there on Thursday for Game 5. I'd rather they wrap it up today and tomorrow and then be done and then just wait for whoever wins out of the Cardinals and the Cubs. But that being said, good job, Dodger fans. Let's keep the energy when the team does come back. That 10th man is very important. It is a thing. There's a reason why we have home field advantage, why teams want home field advantage. Be loud, be respectful, okay? Be respectful, but just be loud and be passionate. The team needs the fans. Let's do it, Dodgers. 2 more wins, and then we're on to the next one. My Blue Thoughts. Bye, guys.